Welcome back to my channel, Endless Roads. Today I want to talk about relationships in the Philippines, or the lack of. I have a situation where this lady keeps messing with me because somebody I have known in the past, she got in a relationship with, got pregnant, and no longer comes and sees him, And now that I am back in America, she starts messaging me, which is causing a strife between me and my wife, because she's still in the Philippines on the other side of the country, and she don't like the idea this girl asked me to do this and do that, message to me, which any of you who have been in the Philippines or dated a Filipino knows that they can be very jealous. Now, the reason why I'm making this video is sort of like a heads up to the Filipinos there and the Filipinos. You need to, before you start making children with somebody you really don't know, you should find out their background and be sure that they're going to be with you. Now, I'm going to get in a little detail about this because I see this happen a lot. And this one individual I'm talking about, he's like a baby factory making children all over the entire world. He'll show up to a country, meet a girl, get her pregnant, and deactivate or block her on Facebook, move on to the next girl until he gets tired of that country and he hops on to the next country, and he's just producing babies everywhere. Well, anyway, to start it off, this guy that I know, I'm not going to mention the girl's name or the guy's name because I want no litigation on me and stuff like that. But anyway, he's like 81, 82 years old. So I'm assuming. I know he's between 78 and 82 years old, somewhere around there. And he worked for the Marines when he got out of high school, and he got stationed in Thailand. And he was having, you're over there, you're going to be a sexpat and enjoy his time while you're there. Well, he's popping out kids over there, I guess. And he gets back, he gets older, and he's traveling Vietnam, Cambodia, Philippines, whatever, he's just hitting those countries because he's got a thing for Asians. And, his mom gets older, and he has to hire a nurse to take care of his mom. And that's running him $25, $30 an hour because they don't want to put her in a nursing home, And let's say this guy ain't the best character because, he got busted several times for farming marijuana. This is back when, marijuana wasn't legal in America and stuff like that. Anyway, so he marries a Thai lady, and he brings her back to take care of him. Long story short, he got busted by the FBI for having 2 barns full of marijuana bells. And but he got out of it because the barns were owned by 8 or 9 other people who are family members and stuff like that. It was a state. So they got their act together. I guess the rules were back then, there had to be one person charged. And if everybody says it's not theirs, it don't happen. Well, then they start worrying, how did the FBI find out? And the guy said, well, they all said, well, it's probably this guy's Thai wife probably said something because we wouldn't have said nothing. So he takes her on a vacation to Louisiana, and he comes back, and there's no more Thai wife. Just disappeared. Nobody knows what happened to her. So he's there for a few more years, He's hiring a nurse again to take care of his mom because now she's like impotent, and you have to syringe food down her throat. And he goes and does the second thing that's illegal now, and it was probably illegal when he did it. He went over to the Philippines and found a bride market, mail order bride. He went there with a lady who was selling young virgins for money. And what he told me, this is from his mouth, he paid $25,000 to the bride. So much goes to the family, so much goes to her, and he gets her. He had her checked out, and at the time she was 23, 24 years old. Well, he's with her there. He gets her pregnant, brings her back. He gets back here to America. She all of a sudden found out that it wasn't that he wanted a wife. He wanted a nurse that he didn't have to pay. So now her days are all filled up with taking care of mom while he's out running around, right? Well, somebody made another phone call saying that his mom wasn't being taken right care of, right? And they said, well, she needs at least have a certified nurse's aid thing to be caring for her. And then he said, oh wow, if I do that, then I'm also going to get money for her taking care of the kid, her mom, through the government. So he sends her to a nursing home to work. And it happens that I am, this is how I met him, running the special care unit there for the mentally challenged people. And she comes in, and I'll backstory with me. I, a few years before, met a Vietnamese lady. She was already in America though, and that's a whole rabbit hole right there. Thing. But anyway, she said she was very depressed because she had nobody like her to talk to. And when I seen her, I couldn't tell a Filipino from a Vietnamese person, Thailand, and nothing back then, you know. They all were Asian, you know. So I see her, I was like, Vietnamese person, you know. So I'm like, hey, how's it going? I don't say that to her. I said, you know what? I said, I'd like you to meet my wife. I said, my wife, I say wife, we never were married. Because she kept dragging her feet about that. But anyway, I introduced her to her, right? And then by introducing her to my Vietnamese girlfriend, she had no Filipino friends yet. They become friends, friends. Then I meet this guy. And I guess he considers, sees me with a Vietnamese person, he considers I'm just like him, right? So he's going on about how he takes these trips to these Asian countries, and sometimes we get a hotel with 3 or 4 young teenage girls in there and stuff like that. And I'm thinking to myself, oh wow, you know, I wonder if his wife knows that. But I'm not going to get into it. So, you know how you are when you've got a relationship, right? You say things to your Vietnamese, well, I said to my Vietnamese wife, usually to whatever wife you have to, you actually talk about stuff. And I was telling her about that, and she's like, oh yeah, well that's horrible, but none of our concern. So fine, you know. And then she and her get really close together. Skip forward for a few years, you know, and she does have a kid, and he's like 4 years old. And then we're at this party, and he's the one who told me, that's when he told me about the bride market, and that he takes a trip to the Philippines or Thailand, sometimes Thailand, but mostly Philippines, in November every year, and he hooks up with girls, and he got a girl pregnant, according to him. I said, oh. I said, what did she go? Oh, no, I didn't give my real name. I didn't do this. I went, you know, back here. Well, years go by later, and her friend come to me with my Vietnamese girlfriend at the time. And me and her have been together for like 7 years now. And it says to me, I think my husband is cheating on me, and I don't know what to do. I said, well, tell me about why you think that. And she said, well, first of all, he's been insisting on going to the Philippines by himself now. And since I got a job, he says he don't want me to quit the job. And I said, well, that makes sense, you know. I'm actually defending him. I said, so how did you meet him? And then she also told a story about paying this lady, got some money, and her family got 60 or 70% of the bride market, and the other lady got the rest. And she was going to come to America and have a better life. I said, well, I says, do you have a better life? And she goes, yes, I have a better life. Uh, but I want my husband to be faithful to me. I said, well, if you want him to be faithful to you, you shouldn't have had somebody sell you to him, because now you became property instead of a girlfriend. Now, believe me, I don't believe anybody to be property. So if anybody out there got triggered by what I just said, but when it comes down to this, that's what she was. She was brought and sold by her choice to the Philippines. Another year goes by, and her and my Vietnamese girlfriend sitting at the table, and she's all upset, and I'm like, what? And says, well, for some reason, he's paying my sister to go to a beauty contest. To beauty school. I said, well, that's nice. He's helping out your family. He said, no. It's my baby sister, and she's just out of high school. I don't trust her around. I think something's going on. I said, well, tell him don't do it. He goes, I did, but he told me he's in charge. I'm scared of him. Blah, 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 blah. I can understand that because knowing what I know about the Thai lady, right? And find out, side note here, right after that, I was part of saying English as second language. That's where you, teach people that just migrated here to learn English. And there's a group, and my job was to transport them down and help them while I was in there. Anyway, we're having these parties once a year, once a month at different people's house where all the groups get there. Well, all of a sudden, it's like more and more going to this guy's house, with that thing, we're going there, and all of a sudden, he tells me I can't go. I'm like, my wife, I'm calling her wife now, even though I'm not married, because again, she's dragging her feet about it. He says, it's just for them. I said, well, okay. So I don't go. And I ended up seeing some pictures, and there was a bunch of guys there still. They were, there. So couldn't figure out why I couldn't go. And I've seen that his first son, he had from American, was with my Vietnamese girlfriend. And I realized that it was the Filipino girl setting him up with her. So I had a little falling out there, so I stopped talking to them. Now the year and a half goes by, I'm then separated with my wife, my Vietnamese girlfriend, because let's say that using is or on it. We done had 2 houses. She got the houses, and she told me she got everything she could from me. And she's looking to advance herself, and I was holding her back. So she moves on. But I'm in Walmart with my 2 children, and here comes, lo and behold, here comes this Filipino girl coming up, and she goes, "Oh, hi, I heard you not with so and so now, and I'm not with so and so now." And she goes, "Yeah, he got my sister pregnant. I got my sister pregnant, and so I left him." And then she goes, "I'm a nurse now," and she kept on doing her studies, so she became a nurse. So she's like, and I'm like, "Get the hell away from me, If I ever see you around me again." And then, I was pretty rude. I told her that I would snap her neck right there, because she was the reason why me and my Vietnamese girl broke up, because she was having trouble with this guy. So this guy, now he has a Thai, he has American son by American. He has a Thai child. He has a Filipino child in America from this woman, and he's got a Filipino child from her sister. Later on, I moved back. I moved to the Philippines already now, right? I'm living there for a couple of years, and I decided to come back because I owe taxes on the I-90 when I was running the business. Right? I come back and pandemic hits. I'm stuck there for 2 years. So I didn't know it was going to be 2 years, so I'm just kicking back, waiting for it to go. I ain't collecting Social Security yet because I'm not quite 62. So I decided to get a job, simple job, because, I don't want to take a major job like I used to do and hurt my resume. So I took a simple job. I worked as a chef in a resort, and I worked as a cook in another place, and then I ran the deli at Walmart. And I'm in there, and all of a sudden we hit the pandemic hit. We couldn't get enough people. So there, if you even have the symptoms of the sickness going around, I don't even know if we can still say the name of that anymore because they blocked that in YouTube. we had to share workers from other places. Well, I get these like 4 Filipinos who come in there and they're talking stuff, and they say, "Oh, you should check out the Philippines." I said, "Well, that's where I live." "Oh, really? Yeah, yeah." I said, "Yeah, I know several Filipinos there," and I said the names, and they said, "Oh, her. Yeah, did you know she left Day because he got her sister pregnant?" I said, "Oh, yeah, I heard about that." He said, "Yeah, and now he got another girl pregnant, and he's come back, and he left her." So, yeah, he's a horrible person, So that was in 2022. Then I get here, and I get a friend request from that day. What's his name? Let's say Daniel. We'll call him Daniel. Anyway, and I found out he didn't send it to me. His new girl sent it to him. He has another kid. Well, maybe, he's in his 80s now. Should have settled down with her and stuff like that. No. I'm with my Filipino wife. We have a wonderful life. Because we stay in the Philippines, I guess, because I don't know what would happen if I brought her here. And she starts messaging before I come back here about 3 months ago. "Hey, have you seen my husband? My guy. He stopped talking to me." A month later, "Hey, I was wondering," and I'm like, "Hey, I'm not even in America." So I said, "Stop sending messages. You're going to get my wife upset because Filipinos in that green-eyed monster they got, So 2 weeks before I head back here, she starts to message me again. "Well, could you just go by his house and check on him? I'm so worried he might have had a stroke, heart attack, and die, or he's laying in the house and nobody's taking care of him." I said, "Well, message his family." He goes, "Well, the Filipino American boy that he had from his wife don't like her, so nobody can bring any information." I said, "You're putting a strain on me because that's like an hour and a half drive from where I'm going to be living at. So I don't like the guy anyway, I have nothing to do. The only thing I had contact with him for is because my woman and his woman ended up being friends." So I agreed to it. I said, "I'll do this one time, and after that, I'm not going to do it again. Don't bother me." So I go there, and nobody answers the door. Banging, banging, banging. And can't figure out why. So I come back second time, and the guy answers the door and said, "Well, he's not home, but he built a brand new house right next door here." And that because that property, I said, was owned by the entire family, and they're building houses to sell them to all his family, his brothers, his sisters, his son, all of them have their own house on the property. So I said, "Okay." And then I come back, and I said, "Well, I tried twice." And "Oh, please try again. So now my wife is steaming, She's like, "I don't like this lady constantly messaging me." I'm like, "Okay." I said, "I'm not going to do it anymore." But then I'm thinking about it, I'll give it one more chance because she's not, she wants to know. And I do feel sorry for the girl, So I show up there, and sure enough, he's there. He's mopping the floor, I knock on the door. He goes, "Oh, you caught me in the middle of the mopping." I said, "Hi." It says, "I moved to the Philippines." He goes, Yeah, I heard." I said, you never stopped in to visit me. He goes, oh yeah, I'm on the other side. I'm way down there in the area of Minnendale, you know, and that. I'm like, okay. I said, yeah, well, I'll come down and see you. Where's your house at? You wouldn't tell me. I said, well, do you have your old house there with your ex-wife? Yeah. I'm going to be going back there in November. I said, okay. I said, are you still with that one girl? No comment. I said, okay. So I recorded because I'm going to sit to her and ask. So I recorded the whole conversation, you know, because personally I hate the guy, you know, for how him and his wife manipulated my family, you know. Drama, that's why they said that Dumageddon drama, that was, but in America, over Filipino stuff. And anyway, I recorded the whole conversation I sent to her, and she's like, oh, did his wife move in with him? His ex-wife? And I'm like, I didn't say that. Oh, was he have another girlfriend? I didn't say that. I don't know. You know, you asked me to go there, I came out. I say, I went there, I found out. I asked her, I said, okay, let me just ask you something. I says, what do you know about this guy? Oh, he was married once before in America to an American, had a kid, and then he was alone for many years, he got lonely, and he married a girl from the Philippines, and she cheated on him and left him with a kid. And he decided to go look for somebody. And I'm like, oh, okay. So this video is for my YouTube channel. So I'm going to be sending it to her, and then I'm going to tell her that says, you know everything that I know. Okay. If those things contact me, I'm not going to go back to his house because he don't really care about me, and I don't care about him. You know, so pretty much it's over. And I don't need a war with my wife for chatting with a Filipino over some other guy, you know. Fact is this. Sorry if I'm talking to the lady who's had a baby from this guy here, you know, because that's what she did. She had a baby by him. It's like probably 8 months old or 6 months old now, somewhere around there, and she's in desperate need. You knew when you met this guy that he's like 78, 80 years old. And most likely, I'm going to say the same thing about my girlfriend. No, she's not that. She's young. She's not too much younger than me. But, you know, most women want to meet a guy that can support them and their kids. And she has several kids. And she probably didn't plan on having a baby by him, but she ended up having a baby by him. And maybe you should have did some research. And if you have several kids, don't have enough kids. And this just goes to anybody that's Filipino over there. You know, don't be popping out a kid and not using protection when you first meet the person because you have no clue what they are. Anyway, now here's what I have did a little research. I was going to send it to her, so I thought I'm just going to make a video and I'm going to put it into this because I'm tired of being this. I'm supposed to be here in America, take care of stuff, get back to my wife, and then we're going to start buying land and a house. But anyway, according to the law, what I have learned, if you're American and you go anywhere in the world, you're basically under the same laws that you are here in America. Not all countries have it. Say like in America, you have to be 18 and, to have consensual relationships with a woman. Some states have dropped it down to 17, but the federal is 18. So, but in other countries, it's 16. So it's like if you take all the countries in the world, it averages out to about 16 to consensual age, but there's some 14 and 12. So you need to follow the law. America has passed a law that says it don't matter if the country says that you can be with a girl that's 16 years old. You're under American law. You have to follow, and the other laws follow too, including child support. Now, are they going to look for a person that has your kid? No. But if the person's educated, that's in another country, they can take their child and make a plea with the government of their country that this guy has abandoned her with a child, they can then go and have a DNA test on the child. And if it links her with that person will be forced by the United States government to pay child support. Now, it is a long, drawn-out system. I heard, according to my wife, that she heard a couple of people did that, and it took like 2, 3 years. But the point is, uh, it's backdated to the time you apply. And plus, once you apply, and it proves that you have a DNA with him, and he dies, say, because he's 82 years old, you'll still be able to get that child support until that kid is at the same age as what is required here in America. Usually it's 18, 21 if they're in college. I don't know if the college thing will apply over there. But the child would be set up. And here's for the Americans, because I don't know about how it's set up in other countries. Why not do it anyway? I mean, come on. If you're getting Social Security and you have a child, your income, your Social Security will increase by 50%. That's going to take care of the kid anyway. I mean, if you give half of that to the what, say like you're getting 2,000, you get 1,000, you send 500 over there, you made 500 anyway. So it's actually been a profit. Now, I'm not telling anybody to go over to the Philippines or any other country and start popping out kids so you're in Social Security. That'd be crazy. But let's say if you have 1 or 2, I think after 2, it goes up to 75, but it don't increase after that. Why not? I mean, if you're 82, and this guy I see, he's not much healthy, you know. He's not going to make it another 10 years. That child's going to be 10 years old, and no support. Abandoned. Just do it. I mean, his other child is 45 years old, American. The other kid is 18. He can't collect it. And, you know, his wife, I don't know if she married the Filipino one. I don't know if she married somebody else, but I know the American wife did. Once you marry somebody else, you're not entitled to that. So, why not? Why not just put that child on your Social Security? You know, if you don't want to send them all, just in half. And then you keep the other half. And then when you pass away, at least that child has something, you know? And that's what I want to get to here. I'm going to go ahead and end this video. It's probably getting a little long, I can't tell. I'm just sitting out here. I was going to do a video about 2025, the cost of living here to the Philippines, but one of my favorite YouTubers, some guy in Deplog out there, he probably knows what I'm talking about if he's watching my channel, and then he just did a video. He beat me to it, so I figured I'd go ahead and do this one instead. But anyway, y'all be safe out there. And right here now, we've been having a rainstorm in America for 2 days here in mid-Missouri, and I don't know if we're going to get any bad weather. It seems like everything around me is getting bad weather, but we haven't here. And I'll be back in the Philippines in about 2.5 weeks. And I already got my ticket brought, you know, flying a new airlines. I never flew them before, Canadian Airlines. And it seems like it's going to get there at the same time, but there's a lot more stopover. They're only 40, 50 minutes, but it's like stopover in St. Louis, stopover in Chicago, stopover in Montreal, stopover in Vancouver. If I'm in Vancouver, stopover in Korea. And then each stopover is only about 30, 40 minutes. And I can't complain about the price, though. It's only $560 to fly from St. Louis to there. And I was looking at airlines. If I would have done a different one, it would only spend a couple hours off the flight, and it would have cost me about $800 to $900. That's one way. So, you know, I'm saving $300, flying 2 hours longer, and many stopovers. Still bother me. Anyway, like I said, y'all be safe, and I'll talk to you later.